Hi, I'm Cheryl Leach. In this problem, we're asked to take our angle, which is in radian measure, and convert it to degree measure. Well, when we convert from one unit to another, we often use what's called a conversion factor. So we need to find out what conversion factor we will use to get that from radians to degrees. Well, let's talk about a couple of things we know. We know that one revolution in radian mode is 2 pi. So 2 pi radians will give me 1 revolution. If I'm working in degree mode, that's going to be 360 degrees. Well, I can take this relationship and divide both sides by 2 and say that I know that pi radians is the same thing as 180 degrees. Now I need to take this information and create a conversion factor out of it. Well, with a conversion factor, we want a ratio to be equal to 1. And since pi radians and 180 degrees are the same thing, I can create the ratio pi radians divided by 180 degrees. But I could also create the ratio 180 degrees divided by pi radians. So those are the conversion factors that I have. Let's go to my specific problem and find out which of them I need. Well, my angle is 5 pi over 2. Now at first glance, this may look a little troubling. It looks like it doesn't have a unit associated with it. By convention in mathematics, if there's no unit written, we know that it's going to be written in radians. So I could write this as 5 pi over 2 radians. Now, this is important because a lot of times students will see a pi written and assume that that means you're working in radians, and that's not the case. Pi is an irrational number, 3.14 and so on. Right? We can have pi degrees. We can have 2 radians. So even though we see pi a lot when we're measuring in radians, it doesn't guarantee that we're working in radians. The lack of a unit there is what tells me I'm working in radians. Okay, so now that I've cleared that up, let's go ahead and pick our conversion factor. I'm in radians, so I would like to choose a conversion factor where the radians will cancel and I'm left with something in degrees. That's going to happen if I choose that conversion factor. So let's take a look. We're going to have 5 pi over 2 radians. And then I'm going to multiply it by 1. The form that 1 is going to take is 180 degrees all over pi radians. Now let's see what happens. First of all, the radians cancel. The pi also cancels. I can also divide 2 into 180, and that goes in 90 times. So I'm left with 450 degrees. So I've converted from radians to degrees. Now let's use our calculator to make sure that this has been done correctly. So let's say that you're working in degree mode on your calculator, and all of a sudden you run across an angle that is 5 pi divided by 2, and it's in radians. Instead of needing to go back and change modes, what you can do is enter 5 pi divided by 2. So 5 pi divided by 2. Be careful to put parentheses around that. Then we're going to hit angle, and then there'll be a small r, which will be an option. So we'll hit R and hit enter. So when we do that, and again, let me mark that down, we want to use parentheses, 5 pi divided by 2, and then there'll be a little R symbol. When we do that and hit enter, we end up with 450 degrees. I hope this is helpful. Thanks.